it that way. It'll come up, and then I'll talk about it more. So, I suppose there could be useful things I could talk about, like benchmarks for good performance against these various arena foes. But to be honest, I didn't really study them at all. I just kind of played it by ear and was like, no, this strategy seems to work, this strategy doesn't. And like I said, none of them were particularly hard enough where it was really a struggle. So, pulling out the numbers wasn't really an issue. So Lachesis also promotes to Pony, which is pretty godlike. It allows her to catch up to Bayo in movement, which means that they both can be doing useful things. It also gives her access to almost any weapon in the game, which is all sorts of retardedly useful. So I left the prayer sword broken here, because at this point I still wasn't sure whether I wanted to necessarily have Holland buy that so we could pass it down to Patty or something like that. I think that I've decided that I love Nana too much to deprive her of awesome toys like Prayer Sword and Earth Sword. And I'll just favor the hell out of her because, hey, it's my run. I can favor if I want to. But yeah, so I leave the Prayer Sword broken for all of Chapter 4 because I hadn't made up my mind yet at that point. And now I think I'm pretty firm in my analysis that Patty can do fine without, and she will do fine without. I will make her do fine without if I have to. Alright, and I suppose I should mention that Lachesis bought a bow because Pegasus Knight chapter spread the bow love around as many people as I can get. Ideally, I don't want to attack too many times with Lachesis because she'll get most of her experience from now on from staves, like any other good staff user. But there will be the occasional moments where you want, a clutch that Pegasus Knight needs to die, and it's always good to make sure that you have someone on hand who can just batch that out. Righteous justice. Now, I don't know if you've been keeping tabs, but I think I just looked up, and at least at the point at which I compared his stats to the averages, my Jamka was performing absolutely hideously. So it's a really good thing he's not contributing to the gene pool this run. That's all I gotta say. I mean, as useful as Continue would have been, he doesn't have Pursuit either, which is kind of a no-go. So Cloud doesn't really need experience. He's only in this for the money, because he'll want to be repairing reserve. Also, because I don't need to worry about giving him Elite or any other treatment, he's good for burning some random numbers in order to pass difficult fights. Now, the reason I'm not repairing the steel bow to continue using it through the chapter is because I don't want to have to spend too much money on Jamka to get him to afford the arena in the next chapter. I actually tried to make a nice little chart ahead of time of who needs to collect on which villages to get to exactly the right levels of money. Money management, maybe I'm overplaying it, but I consider it to be a very crucial aspect of a ranked playthrough. Some of my plans were scrapped after I found out just how much ludicrous funds do collect over the course of this chapter. He was actually able to top off 3 people, which meant that they didn't need to collect the villages, and so I could reapportion them slightly. Although, there still probably weren't enough villages to accomplish all of the topping off that I would have liked to get done, but that's just the way that things work. It also doesn't help that in order to get the Defender Sword, Sylvia has to visit a village, and at the moment she has no use for extra money. So that's basically 5,000 gold wasted. But the Defender Sword is incredibly clutch, so not visiting that with her would just be the height of folly. A little more Claude action. He has to pull out quite a number of dodges here against the Forest Knight, which requires a really lucky set of random numbers. And he passes on the tome to ID. Irene is also only in it for the money. With Bargain, she really doesn't need that much money, but as long as the ability to earn money is around, I mean, that helps repair your staves, and anything left over will go down to her daughter, who also probably won't need that much money, but it's nice to have at least a small bankroll at the beginning. Although honestly, the amount of money you get from inheritance is pretty small. Usually the key factors are items that you inherit. And she'll be inheriting a chuck ton of those, so. So now we're doing some item apportionment here. Sylvia picks up the Knight Ring, which is incredibly key for this whole chapter for her. This was probably a silly decision on my part. Claude really doesn't need Recover, and he's going to end up passing that back to Ideen later. So that was really a foolish purchase in hindsight, and it wastes, you know, a fair chunk of change. Because the smart thing would have been just to give him Ideen's live staff. Anyway. I have Ideen tuck her bargain bracelet in storage for now, because she's not going to need it to repair things mid-chapter. And I thought she might need the repair staff, because that bishop is wandering around with a sleep staff. Turns out you can easily manipulate him so that he won't cast sleep, preferentially use